So what I have here are the tools and equipment that I use to change the gear oil in the power transfer unit and the rear drive assembly on my 2011 Jeep Patriot. Starting with the tools here, 24mm wrench. I have a breaker bar and a ratchet, happen to use 3/8, and have a 17mm and 10mm ratchet plus a 3/8 inch hex, flat screwdriver, knee pads just to be easy on the knees, my overalls, pan to catch the oil, plenty of shop towels, vinyl gloves to keep the hands a bit clean, especially in some of the warmer oil, brake cleaner, some thread sealant to plug up the make sure there aren't any leaks, the drain plug. You can see the pump that I bought there. It's a lower leg pump meant for marine uses, but perfect for getting into the tight spaces that we'll have to deal with here. And an LED light that helps getting light in some of the darker spots in case you have trouble seeing things. And it's all on a tarp that I put under the vehicle in order to make sure that any oil that does spill goes onto the tarp and is easy to clean up, doesn't stay on the floor of the garage. So here's something that I rigged up to be able to pump the fluid into the very tight space where the fill cap is, because it's hard to get things at anything other than a 90 there. It's a quick connect for plumbing, and 3/8 inch outer diameter tube and both ends of that, as you can see, and then a slightly bigger piece of tube over top of that I'll then attach onto the end of my pump. Doing something like this will make getting the fluid into that very tight area a lot easier. You may have is, where is the rear drive assembly? As you can see, I'm just underneath the bumper now, and you can see right here the muffler cover, and just above that, you can see the rear drive assembly. Just move forward so you can actually see it there. The rusty-ish looking plug there is the drain plug. Not going to start with that, because if we drain it and can't get the other plug, the fill plug off, which is above, we'll show you in a minute, we'd be in deep trouble because we'd have no way of refilling it. But that's what you're going to use your 3/8 inch hex socket to remove in just a minute. I have not raised this Jeep at all. You can see the drain plug that I showed you there. It's on the bottom of the pan, and then a little bit above it there's another one that looks a little bit rusty. It's sort of by the center, just about there. That is the fill plug. It's the only one that's 24mm, and that's the one that you're going to open up. So we'll do that now. So as you can probably see there, I've put the wrench over top of the filler cap, and I am now about to loosen it. So I cheated a little bit here and loosened it a little bit while I had the camera off, because I'm trying to do my own camera work here. But as you can see, I'm loosening it here with my fingers, and we'll take the bolt, the filler cap out. And there it is. And you can probably see the hole right there, and you can see it right above the filler cap, and we're about, I'd say, 18 to 24 inches forward of the rear bumper. So we're not that far in, and again, I don't have the Jeep lifted at this point in time, just because I don't need to. I'm able to get underneath it here. It's on a flat spot. The parking brake's on. It's in park. I haven't put wheel chocks in, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but didn't do it this time. So there is what it looks like once it's come out. So here's what that filler cap looks like when it's out. I actually had it out the other day, and I'm just switching oils from the one I bought, so it's pretty clean. You might have taken brake fluid cleaner to fix that up and get any gunk off of it, but it's pretty clean now. Make sure not to lose the little washer that's on there when you take it off. Sometimes it'll stick to the pan, and so just make sure that you've got that. Now you can see how I've hooked the little gizmo that I've attached up to the 90-degree elbow, and you can see now where I've put it inside the filler cap area. And there's about a 2-inch long hose that's going directly now inside. You can see it's attached to the pump there. And now what we're going to do is empty the drain with the 3-inch hex bit that mentioned earlier. I'm going to try to film and open this at the same time. Now I can do it by finger, and it should come out here. It's starting in just a second. It's not going to be too bad because I'm just replacing oil that I decided I wanted a different brand. There it comes out. It's quite clean. If I'd had it in there, well, the oil I replaced a couple days ago was very dark, very smelly, and that's what it was. Now you can see this is pretty clean. What you want to do is you want to spray some brake cleaner on it, or spray some brake cleaner maybe on a paper towel and clean off any residue. If this had been in there for a while, there have been a lot of sludge built up on the end of that, and you obviously want to remove all of that. So you can see there the drain plug all cleaned up and nice. All the grunge that would have been on that magnet there has been taken off. If you haven't done this in 50 or 100,000 kilometers or whatever the time frame is, you'll find a huge accumulation there. But this one, as I say, had just been replaced recently, so I just cleaned it up a bit now, and it's not taken a whole lot of work to get it to this state. And you should be able to see the white of the thread sealant that I've put on the bottom 2/3 or bottom half of that drain plug there. That'll just make sure that nothing leaks out when I put it back in. So now you can see that it's not draining anymore. What I'm going to do around that hole there is I'm going to spray some brake cleaner on a cloth. I'm not going to spray it directly on there because I don't want any brake cleaner going in. I'll spray brake cleaner on the cloth, and I will clean up around that, so when you see it next it should be cleaned up. But in the interim, what I'm going to do off camera is start pumping a few shots of clean oil through there, just so it comes out to take out any remaining old oil in there. So I'm going to cheat a bit here, and when you come back you should see the clean oil starting to come through, even though all the oil old oil looks like it's drained out. So I gave it a few pumps, and you can see that the new clean oil is coming through. It's reddish in color, and that will take out any of the old oil that was there. So off camera, I sprayed some brake cleaner on a cloth and cleaned around the hole there. You can see pretty soon that last little bit of oil will stop to drip, and then I will replace the drain plug. So now I've replaced it, the plug, and I'm just going to finger tighten it till it's all the way in. The reason you do that is you do not want to end up accidentally stripping it, which there's a risk of doing if you start with the ratchet. So make sure that it goes all the way in, no resistance due to cross threading, and then when you get it all the way in, you're ready to, there it's all in. At this point I'll give it just a little tiny tightening with the ratchet, just the slightest bit, just to make sure that it's in a position where it won't start leaking when they put the fluid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep pumping the fluid until you see it leaking down from the top. That's how you know it's full, is you just keep pumping it in now that the drain plug is in. So now that that's in and tightened just a little bit, just enough to make sure nothing leaks, what I'm going to do, I'll have to do it off camera because again I need two hands to do it, is I will pump oil and we'll know it's full when it starts to drain down from the top. So you can see the oil probably draining down there. That's coming from the top of the fill spout, which I can't show you from here just because of the angles that things are on. But that means that it's completely full. So that's what you want to get. Takes about 600 milliliters, 550 milliliters thereabouts, and you can see it's draining now. That's a good sign. Unlike the bottom drain spot, it cannot drain too much. Once it gets down to the top of the hole, it'll simply stop draining. You'll want to dry that up so it doesn't cause any smoking or any odor, but it's actually a good sign that it's leaking from the top. That would not be a good sign if it were leaking from the bottom, of course. That's a whole different story and you'd be in deep trouble. But leaking from the bottom is actually a good sign, tells you that it is completely full. So once again, finger tighten that up to the point that it's all the way in, and then off camera again, because I have to do it with two hands, I will tighten that to 24 pound-feet rather, and I will do the same thing for the drain plug. Once that's done, everything is finished except for the cleanup. And that is how you change the gear oil on the rear drive assembly of a Jeep Patriot 2011. And in another video, I'll show you how to do the front.